Hey, good to see you again. This is Kitty Anderson. I'm a board certified menopause coach, coaching since 2017. And I started this YouTube channel to help you understand the major changes in your body at menopause and how things need to be adjusted. So you may or may not be on a whole food diet at this point, but basically you need to move at least to a whole food diet, if not to a nutrient dense diet and an anti-inflammatory diet, basically because you've got to change how your body is managing nutrients. It has to happen. So here's the reasons to move to food nutrients instead of a supplement. Supplements really are overrated. Overrated. It's a sales technique. Let's review. I talk about this in every single nutrition video, but I'll do it again. Your body with low estradiol does not absorb nutrients. The low estradiol controls the gates, and the gates are really small. When you're pregnant, your estrogens are up at 7,000 and the gates are massive, and you're sucking in the nutrients and you get to build a new human being. So 7,000. Down at menopause without HRT, you're down at 10. So tiny, 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 tiny. All right. And then with HRT, you're still only around 100 with the high doses. And if you can talk your doctor into higher, then you're going to get more nutrients. You're not starving. But basically, estradiol is controlling that gateway. And as part of that, estradiol is also controlling your appetite. And so as you move up your HRT, your appetite is going down because your body is learning, I'm getting more nutrients, and it sends a signal to the brain that you can stop eating. So it's a part of weight loss. It's a part of managing your weight, is managing your HRT, right? So why would we use supplements? Because they're easy, they're convenient, might even be less expensive than food. But those aren't the reasons. We've got a lot of big problems with moving all of our nutrients into supplements. So here's the number one reason to use food instead of supplements is fiber and phytonutrients, okay? These two things are not inside of a supplement. They're in food. And your microbiome needs these to survive and thrive. And you're basically trying to keep that intestinal environment a happy place, a happy place. And you don't want to dump a whole bunch of artificial ingredients in. You want fiber from vegetables and fruits. You want proteins to come in, and you want your digestive enzymes to be working on those nutrients. So it needs the signal from food in order for you to get those nutrients. Phytonutrients are never included in a supplement, but they're inside of every vegetable and every fruit. So these are special pieces of chemistry that are different than vitamins and minerals, which you find in supplements. So phytonutrients are something that we just haven't captured yet. And probably the actual processing is going to destroy the phytonutrients. You need those. And those, there's many different types of phytonutrients, but those are really important antivirals for you, anti-cancer for you, like sulforaphane. That chemistry inside of cruciferous vegetables is key and important. And that phytonutrient is not in a supplement anywhere. So we're looking for fiber and phytonutrients. Got to get them in food. So that's your number one goal. The second reason we don't lean into supplements is overconfidence. It makes you eat worse foods. Right? Because you're confident that you've got all your vitamin and minerals. You might have a multivitamin that has 50 things in it, but you think you're getting everything that you need there. And that overconfidence means you never end up learning about food and real food and what it's going to give you. And you also will lean over into worse food. It'll make you head towards junk food because you're thinking, oh, I've got all my vitamins and minerals covered. It's all covered. So why worry? This is psychology. This is the psychology. When you don't have supplements, you're going to lean into food really, really hard for the nurturing aspects of the vitamins and minerals, fiber, and phytonutrients. You're looking for all of that out of your food every single day, every single meal. That's what you want. A third reason to move away from supplements is they are processed. Processed. When you think of processed foods, think of supplements too. They run through machines. They don't have good quality control on the ingredients. They're sourcing the ingredients based on cheapness and availability. The supplements are often a profit center for a functional medicine provider or for pharmacy. So they're expecting you to be sold these things. And all of the water-soluble ones just pee out of you every day anyway, right? So you're not really holding on to those. So that's processing, right? And you can bet for every processed ingredient, there is an invisible ingredient in there because they don't have to put everything on the label. So you don't know what you're getting. And if you're sensitive to any of the allergens, which most people by menopause are sensitive to these allergens, even though they're natural, even though they're food, we're still sensitive to them. And those are used as fillers inside of these supplements. So processing, it is processed. It is not an FDA approved product. The quality control on that product is variable. It's just variable, and there's not much you can do about that. Shift over to getting your vitamins from nutrient-dense food, and you can rely on that more. You can tell there's nothing injected into it. You can tell there's nothing inside of it. You know what you're getting. So that's why food over supplement. What about the formulations of supplements? You don't know that those supplements are in the right ratios for you to absorb them. You don't know if one of those is blocking another one of those. That can actually happen inside your digestive system. We need the environment of the microbiome working on the food in its total form in order to absorb things best. So you're getting the nutrients, you're getting more nutrients out of the food. There's no guarantee that they've formulated that vitamin correctly. The other thing is, inside the food, our body can adjust things, convert things. The microbiome also has the job of converting a lot of things. So we don't want to give up those components in the food, but our body also knows how to work on those things. It doesn't know what a supplement is. There's not a natural way for us to absorb a supplement. So supplements are not really natural. Sorry. There are other components of food that also we have not even identified yet. Nutrition is such a young science that we are still identifying things in food that our body needs that we're not really calculating and putting into supplements. It's just not in there yet. So that's important. There is such a thing as supplement withdrawal. So your body will have a rebound effect if you take those supplements away. There's no such thing as food withdrawal. I mean, your body does adjust as your diet adjusts. Your microbiome shifts with every meal. Every single meal that you eat, your microbiome is changing in accordance with that. It is adapting to that meal. So think about that. One study also found that supplements, when they tested the supplements, between 30 and 80% had ingredients that did not even match the label. So even if you know you think you know what's inside of that product. There are other ingredients in there and missing ingredients. So reliance on supplements is very, very difficult. Supplements can be labeled gluten-free and still have trace amounts of gluten in it. So I want you to understand that we have this very imperfect world where things can have a certain label and still not have that factor. So it's something to be very, very careful about. Here's a good example of a deficiency that we often hear about because we can test for it, which is anemia or iron deficiency. And this happens a lot with women who still have a period. But what we've learned is there are now specialists who help you identify how your particular genetics is absorbing or not absorbing the iron. So we'll find very often that a supplement, an iron supplement, will work for one person and not work for another. It's just an imperfect world. One of the bits of research that I did that I thought was really fascinating was the International Olympic Committee, which does the diet and nutrition recommendations for all the Olympians, says avoid supplements. They know that the best outcomes come from food. It does not come in a bottle. It is not in a supplement. You might even find that the supplement label that you read online when you ordered it does not match the label that you get on the product when the product arrives at your door. There is so much double checking and triple checking that needs to be done. Just think of this as this is processed. This is unreliable. This is going to change day to day. And what you think you're getting is not always what you're getting. So when it comes to protein supplementation, let me say this, is that we have known for ages that a single protein overloading your intestinal systems will block the absorption of all other proteins. So if you're having a protein shake or a shake with any proteins in it, that can be incomplete, not having the 21 different amino acids that we find in food. So you don't have that, you have a different ratio. And if you have an overload of one protein, it is going to totally block out absorption of the others. So this is the crazy things that people don't tell you about that exists in the supplementation world. Our labeling laws allow a provider or a supplement maker to put the label immune support or cardiovascular support without any proof at all that this is actually the case, because the way it is phrased is allowed. So it's very, very misleading what you're getting. You have to get a little bit smarter about your food. If you want immune support, please use the autoimmune protocol, which is an immune strengthening diet. That's where you want to go. And you don't have to know the internal science of all the food, but you do have to know kind of how many portions of each type of food that you need each week. And it's a really simple checklist. There's 2 or 3 things that I think you could easily supplement. One is magnesium. And the reason I say magnesium is it has so many functions in the body, and we're having trouble getting it into our fruits and vegetables. So there could be a need. As you age, it is harder and harder to absorb the magnesium from food. The other thing is that it can help you sleep, and we know that postmenopausally sleep is a very big issue. So magnesium is the one thing that I would say seek a supplement, especially if you're having trouble sleeping. It's pretty easy. Another supplement that I would recommend is vitamin D, which is really a pro-hormone. It's actually not a vitamin. We call it vitamin D. Vitamin D, make sure you do some regular checking. I check quarterly with my doctor. I have a 50,000 IU supplement that I take once a week. I find that's really efficient for me. And but you're also getting vitamin D out of your foods, and so look up those vitamin D foods. You want to make sure you're getting that, and you're getting it from sun exposure. And the higher your estradiol is, the higher your vitamin D will be. There is a link to that, so make sure your HRT is a high enough dose. So probiotics, I would say under the care of a professional, might be useful, but I've done really, really well just with fermented foods. I just use a live sauerkraut, and this will have about 500 different species or of bacteria, and it's a live experience, and you'll see the difference in your digestion. And just a couple spoonfuls of that every day, and that'll take control. It has a command and control impact on the microbiome. So it's a very positive impact. Very good for your immune system. Another supplement that can be insanely beneficial is a digestive aid. And I use one that has enzymes in it that help break down the food. It has HCl, hydrochloric acid, in it to help break down proteins in case my stomach acid is low. It's got ox bile in it, which is another mammal, right? So that's supporting the ox bile in my body. And the body has about 10 to 15 functions of ox bile. One is reducing cardiovascular disease, and another one is weight loss. This helps your metabolism. So NOW Super Enzymes is one of the few things that I do take. I do take the magnesium, I take NOW Super Enzymes, and the vitamin D. And those are the only 3 things that I get out of a bottle, and the rest I lean into food. So if you like, you can email me at jumpstartaip, and I will send you a list of foods that you want to be leaning into on the autoimmune protocol. Adopting that diet, you adopt it as a 30-day experiment, and you go from there. You try to reintroduce foods, see if you have a reaction, see how that food is impacting you. But once you strengthen your immune system with nutrient-dense foods, you'll feel an energy bump. You'll feel a difference. You'll feel a mood boost. You'll feel your digestion smooth out. There are so many impacts to having a nutrient-dense diet. You are having 7 to 10 times more nutrients on the autoimmune protocol than a processed food diet. So we're moving you off of processed food. If you need help with motivation, I've got a motivational session. We can sit together and turn your life around. Anyway, that's about all I have to say. Food over supplements. Always, always love that food. All right, take care. Bye.